Today I'm going to be touching base on redshirting. So, in early childhood education, generally what that means is to hold a child back for 1 year before starting kindergarten if they be the youngest in the classroom due to their birthday. Children who are redshirted and held back, they usually start kindergarten at the age of 6 years old. When parents choose to do this, it's usually because they feel that their child is too young to enter kindergarten at that age, and they decide that it's better for their child to start school a year late, and that would be at age 6. Now, as a preschool teacher, I would have to agree with the statement. Delaying children's entry into school and or segregating them into extra year classes actually labels children as failures at the outset of their school experiences. Now, I would agree with this statement not because a child will be labeled as a failure in the eyes of the teachers, but more so because a child will view him or herself as a failure. Children who are redshirted tend to become delayed socially and academically, and therefore as they grow older, they start seeing themselves as failures. Children who are redshirted tend to become they tend to compare themselves and their abilities to their peers, and doing so and when seeing a difference in their ability may cause them to see themselves as failures and develop a negative outlook on life and on school in general. Usually these kids develop behavioral problems and eventually they tend to drop out of school. I would recommend parents against redshirting their child. I let them know that holding their child out will only deprive them of instruction that would otherwise promote learning of many skills regardless of their age. I would make sure that parents know that their child and children in general are natural learners and their development must always be stimulated by the world around them and by their peers. And by their peers, by that I mean by the people that they interact with on a daily basis. And this is done more efficiently when they're in a classroom interacting not only with the teacher but with their classmates. This wouldn't be effective and wouldn't be possible at home. I'm going to give you an example. For instance, in a kindergarten classroom, a child could learn law by simply interacting with other kids. If they see another child doing something that they've never done or thought about doing before, it could cause them to broaden their creativity and try new actions or activities. Also, a teacher could be asking questions throughout a lesson or a lecture, which in turn would stimulate the child's mind and promote them to have new ways of thinking and develop critical thinking skills. Another thing I'd address to parents is that it is very likely that their child will have to receive special education services later if they are held back a year. The earlier the child is enrolled in kindergarten, the earlier they will receive services if they are eligible, which works to their advantage, the parents and the child. Parents need to realize that every child develops at a different level and pace, no matter whether you hold your child back or whether you enroll them in kindergarten when they're supposed to. Whether they decide to hold their child back or not, because in the end they will, what I mean to say is, if the parents decide to hold their child back in the end because they know that their child would be the youngest among the classroom, or whether they decide to go ahead and let their child enter kindergarten, ultimately the child's development and academic achievements will be relatively based on his or her own abilities. So again, what I mean to say is that whether parents decide to hold their child back or not, their child will ultimately develop at their own pace based on their own skill levels. Every child is different. And in the end, as a preschool teacher, I would tell parents it's better not to hold their child back. It's better to let them start when they're supposed to start. And if they have troubles in school developing psychologically or academically, any way, shape, or form, that's why teachers are there for. That's why the teacher is there for, and that's why special services are offered for children at an early age, starting in kindergarten. And ultimately, that's a stand that I would take in this matter. So I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment on any feedback that you may have. Thank you.